I'm Jack from Eastern Long Island. Orient, New York is the community. So it got to be about 5:30 on Monday afternoon, the day of the storm, and the predictions were for surges up to 10 feet or 12 feet, 15 feet, that kind of thing. Our house is about 10 and a half feet above the normal high tide. The water was, at that point over the seawall. And it was flooding in all directions around the house. County and town had set mandatory evacuation zones. So at 5:30 I walked out along our road down to the main drag in the village, which is still a small street. But as I walked out, the water was at that point above my knees, so three inches above my knees or so forth as I waded out there. And then I started going uphill, in the direction of the shelter. There were two shelters in town. One was the fire department, one was a school, and they're across the street from each other on higher ground. It's on the main through road there. In the meantime, my family had called from Massachusetts saying, he hasn't called us, is he there? And they assumed I wasn't and went looking for me with a big fire truck that floats in deep water. When I heard that they were looking, somebody said they were looking for me, I'd already checked into the shelter at the school, and so they got the word out to call them back. So they were making a lot of efforts to make sure everybody was rounded up. Reports started to come in early the next morning while there was water in. The water had quickly backed out as the tide went down. And that was unusual. That's not usually the way it goes. It usually comes in and sits, and it takes days or even a week for the water to back out. Well, there already are rules on if you're trying to build a new house, you've got to get it up to the flood height. I expect that given the rising water, that there would be a need for 12 feet, 15 feet, or some higher amount. And that'll be, for existing houses, expensive to do. And if they do it as they did in the past, it's just new or substantial renovations they require, it'll still cost a lot. It's just something the rest of New York City and the rest of the country are going to have to deal with in the future if the waters continue to rise, as many of the scientific in the community feel. If the basic levels are higher and storms are more frequent and more severe, then there will be damage.